Hi, Sergeant Jim here. I'm here to talk about the murder of a retired school teacher. It was one of the most horrific cases that I ever worked. I was a patrolman. I had been on the job a couple of years, and I was working a series of residential burglaries. We had a number of houses. They were all corner houses that were all daytime burglaries, where the scumbag burglars would hit the house while you were at work, out working for a living, and they steal your stuff. Had about 5 or 6 of them I'd worked. And then we had the same type of house had been burglarized, but this time they found somebody home. It's about a 78-year-old retired school teacher who they beat to death in her own bed. It was a indescribably horrible beating. So anyway, I talked to the detectives working the case. I was doing crime scene security at that location, and I gave them the information that I already had on the burglars that I've been working. They were able to get enough evidence to bring charges on them. So we were out looking for him. A couple of days later, I pulled over a car doing just an ordinary traffic stop that crossed my path, and I was taking back the tickets to turn in at the station around 6 o'clock. We got off at 6:30 every day, and my lieutenant yelled at me and told me, "Why am I wasting my time writing tickets to people when I should be out looking for this murderer?" He said, "Go find him." I got back in my car. I literally drove 3 blocks from the police department and passed him. He was going the other direction in the car. So I turned around on him. The chase was on. He drove about 2 blocks and bailed and ran into a house. And I was screaming on the radio and everything, and all the other cops came, and it was shift change. So we had everybody there. At shift change, you have the oncoming shift and the outgoing shift. So we completely surrounded the house. And the resident initially didn't want us to search the house, but we were able to convince them that it'd be in their best interest to let us search the house. So we had the house surrounded. We went in, looked around the house, didn't find anything. About the time we were giving up and thinking the guy must have run out the back door and got away, the lieutenant started yelling he sees pipes moving under the house. So we went back in the house, and this 6'6", full-size man is curled up under the kitchen sink. And him moving around in there wiggled the pipes, which went through the floor to the bottom. So we drug him out and arrested him. A few weeks later, his partner that we had charges on for the murder was doing a burglary in progress. We went there and chased him about maybe 5 or 6 blocks through the woods, through backyards, over fences, and he finally hubbed up in a car in a lady's driveway. And we saw him get in it, so we surrounded him. We're all pointing gun at him, doing the cop thing, let me see your hands and all this kind of stuff. Well, he had locked himself in the car and was trying to start it. So we broke out our ass batons to smash the windows, and the lieutenant told us, "Wait, get the keys from the homeowner." So I went to the homeowner, beat on her door. She came out all frazzled. She seen the guy get in her car. She was terrified, and I asked her for the keys, and she couldn't figure it out. She couldn't figure out where she kept her keys. She was too shaken up by it. So she said, "The back is open, the back is open." It was an old Datsun B210 hatchback. This thing was parked in a little open carport of a little 2-bedroom Florida home. Had open windows on the side, no garage door, just open carport. So we popped the back open. I reached in with the can of pepper spray as far as I could. I'm 6'5½", so I could almost reach him through the back with the pepper spray, and I pushed the button down. He turned around to look behind him right as the stream hit him square in the face. And he didn't know what was going on for a second, so he wore about half the can before he decided to duck, and it was too late. He was drowned in it. And he started screaming. I asked for another can of spray. 2 other officers reached in and started hosing him. So, we sprayed this guy like a cockroach. Then he decided to, get out of the car at this point because he was dying from the pepper spray. He unlocked the door, and we drug him out, took him into custody, and we just got that stuff all over us. This guy had orange skin. He had no shirt on by this point because, every clever criminal, when they run from you, they take their shirt off, so you won't recognize them. So anyway, he's all sweaty, all nasty, and covered in pepper spray. And we got him all arrested and took him in. They were able to get a confession out of him, and he gave up his partner, the guy who he'd already arrested. But that was the only actual, solid evidence we had on the first guy. So they offered both of them, I think, a 20 or 25-year plea. The second guy that we pepper sprayed took the plea, and the other guy wouldn't take the plea. So they let him out on bond. And I caught him for another burglary and a stolen motorcycle. So they gave him 5 years for the motorcycle and all that kind of stuff, and the other one went off to do his 25-year sentence. The guy that got like the 5-year sentence got out and thought it'd be a great idea to go on a string of armed robberies throughout the area. He was a really brutal guy. He jumped behind the counter. He smashed girls' heads into the ground, drug them around by their hair. He robbed them, beat them, and went and did another one, just one after another. And the sheriff's office got on that guy and went to chasing him all around. And once again, being a brilliant guy, he thought it'd be a great idea to shoot at the sheriff. He shot at the actual sheriff, the sworn sheriff of the county, and ran into the woods. The dog track found his mask, and they caught him. And he got himself 45 years to life or something like that for the string of armed robberies. So if the guy had taken the plea bargain for the murder, he'd have already been out for 10 or 15 years. But he's still facing another maybe 15, 20 years to go. So anyway, that was the murder of the school teacher in a small town. I'd say probably the most horrific case I ever worked because of the brutality of the crime, which I don't need to describe, but I'll just say it was very horrific. And people think that things like that don't happen in a small town, but I promise you they do. All right, till a couple days from now, I'll have you another one. Have a good one.